All right, so the LA Lakers off to a good start so far to the season in their first two games of the JJ Redick era. 2-0 so far, two wins, two high quality wins, one against the Minnesota Timberwolves on opening night, and the second against the Phoenix Suns that themselves have a new look offense and a little bit of a new identity with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker. They're playing a different style than what they played last season under Budenholzer this season. So two high quality wins to start things off here for this Lakers team. The thing that pops off the charts, and this is something that people have been raving about really since the preseason, how different the offense looks. So I was critical of the Lakers myself during the offseason because they didn't really get involved in the free agency market at a really high level, besides signing back maybe a few guys and drafting some players like Bronny and Dalton Connect, obviously. Didn't really get super active as far as getting new players on the roster, didn't get involved in the trade market at all. That starting lineup is the exact same starting lineup as it was last season with D'Lo, Austin Reeves, LeBron, Rui Hachimura, and Anthony Davis. So same looking lineup, right? Same guys out there on the court. There are some newer players. We've seen more of Max Christie on the court this season so far. And obviously Dalton Connect being out there is a big difference than last season because Dalton Connect wasn't even out there playing in the NBA. But essentially same starting lineup, almost the same closing lineup. Last night we saw Gabe Vincent in the closing lineup for the Lakers, which was a little bit different than what we saw last season. But as I said, people have just been raving about this team and they've been raving about the offense. It has been an amazing looking offensive attack so far. So much movement, so many off ball actions, so much screening, getting this many talented players in motion and getting them so engaged in the offense, getting rid of any type of stagnation. It does so much. It puts the defense on their heels. And the most impressive thing is this offense is looking really good in game two. Guys are flowing through these sets in game two of the season. Imagine how this offense looks come game 50. Now, the thing is, other teams could get better defensively by that time as well. This could be a thing where early on in the season, Phoenix still has some kinks to work out in their defense, which I imagine they do. And the Timberwolves, the same way with having a couple of big new rotation pieces on the squad. I get it. But the way they look within this offense and the way these guys are flowing within this offense right now in just game two, where they are essentially trying to figure out a new thing, trying to figure out a new system. And you can see it at times that they're trying to figure things out and trying to get used to this. But that's how things look in game two. It looks great in game two. Imagine this thing by game 50. There's a lot to be scared of with this Lakers team and this offense that has just so many guys engaged, so many great reads being made, not just with the ball, but off ball as well. Love it. Love that JJ Redick is getting so many guys in movement. And I'm not going to sit here and act like the offense wasn't good in the Darvin Ham era because there were times where the offense did look good in that Darvin Ham era. I don't want to take any credit away from him because if we look at the Ham era, yes, it was underwhelming, but they still made the Western Conference Finals. Like it wasn't horrible. It wasn't ideal, but it wasn't horrible. They were still a decent enough and actually at times pretty good offensive group, but just the way that things are being ran, the way the offense looks, it seems more suited to winning playoff series. And again, it is so early, but these high motion offenses where you have so many guys getting involved in so much movement happening both on and off the ball, it is so dangerous to guard, especially when you have such a high level of talent on the roster with guys like LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Austin Reeves. And especially thinking about that game last night against the Suns, I want to talk about Austin Reeves for a second. He is so impressive as a shot maker. I think he is one of the best tough shot makers right now in the entire league. Austin Reeves, to see his progression right into being this young guy that nobody really expected to be this good, into actually being the guy that he is now, a super reliable shot creator, somebody who can be clutch down the stretch, can help close a game at a high level. To see him grow from where he started at to now, it has really been amazing. And he was a big time turning point offensively for the Lakers in that second half after they were trailing in the first half. They got off to a really rough first half start. Obviously, most of that was because of the defense, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But Austin Reeves' offense has looked so good and he's improved year in and year out. And seeing that growth has been great. I don't know if Austin Reeves will ever become an all-star player, right? I don't think he's going to be an all-star playing alongside with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, but seeing how reliable of an offensive option he has become. He is one of the most reliable non-all-star guys right now in the NBA. Like, teams can defer to him and rely on him to make big-time plays down the stretch. Seeing him become that has really been amazing. And as I said, he was a big part of that turning point last night with the Lakers as they came back and won that game against the Phoenix Suns. Another thing that I've loved, Anthony Davis. So many people were talking about this with Anthony Davis over the last couple of years, that he doesn't like to play the five. He doesn't like being a center. He likes to play this game as this power forward, a lot of finesse, jump shooting, all of that, which he can do at a very, very high level. But watching Anthony Davis play, especially last night, he's playing like a true center. So much damage is being done in the paint. He's taking advantage of these matchups. He took total advantage last night of Yusuf Nurkic, who just had no answer for him at all. Seeing Anthony Davis embrace this playing style as like this true five, where there was some resistance to him playing like that over the last couple of seasons, has been great. And again, that speaks to JJ Redick's ability to get these guys to buy in. And Darvin Ham got him to buy into that a bit as well. Like I said, I don't want to take all the credit away from Ham, but I love the way in which Anthony Davis is being utilized right now in the offense, how he's getting to his spots. He's playing like this true big man. And it's so impressive seeing this because for majority of his career, we saw the finesse. We saw this vast skill set, which was obviously awesome and actually helped the Lakers win a title back in 2020. But seeing him embrace this style as like a true five has been really good to see. And I think he's also going to make a run at Defensive Player of the Year. Serious run this season at Defensive Player of the Year. There was a bit of a chip on his shoulder last season with the Rudy Gobert thing. I thought Gobert deserved it over him, but still, Anthony Davis as an individual defender, one of the best in the league. If the Lakers can get within like the top 3 or top 4 defensively this season, then yes, AD will be near the top of that conversation. So great stuff from AD, both on the defensive end and offensive end, per usual. But I'm loving this style of play with his offense, embracing this style as a true paint presence and all of that. And again, that's not just a thing he's been doing here under Redick. He's been doing it over the last couple of seasons, but great stuff we saw him do last night, taking advantage of a very weak Phoenix Suns interior, something we knew needed a lot of improvement coming into this particular season. I also really love JJ Redick's utilization and trust in younger players, in non-veteran players. So obviously, we're talking about Max Christie. We're also talking about Dalton Knecht, who looks so confident through these first couple of games. Like, there was a stretch in the second quarter where the Lakers were trailing and he knocks down a couple of three-pointers, one of which he just faces up KD, doesn't take a dribble, and just pulls a three and knocks it down. And it was a couple of feet behind the line, right? So seeing Dalton Knecht come off the bench and be this confident is amazing. Even his utilization, JJ Redick's utilization of Jackson Hayes, has been just great. It has been amazing. He has found a way to make Jackson Hayes look so useful within this offense, who have him kind of lifting a little bit like to the mid-range area. Somebody will feed him the ball. And even if his defender is sagging off, which rightfully so they should do because he's a non-threat as a shooter, JJ Redick has found so many ways for him to still be a high-impact player offensively. So there's this blind pig concept that they'll do where maybe a guard is being denied the ball up top or on the baseline or on the elbow, then Jackson Hayes would lift, receive a pass, and then that guy who's being pressured will cut, and Jackson Hayes will make that pass, right? He's found a really good way to utilize Jackson Hayes as a shooter or as a passer, right? He's found a really good way to get Jackson Hayes highly involved within this offense. Love it. Love the confidence that he has in his younger guys. Great stuff here, especially with the offense. Then over here to the defense. It is so unique and tough to keep up with. So first half, things were not looking great for this team defensively. Second half, they definitely turned it up. Forced a lot of Suns turnovers, which could be a thing that's inherent to the Phoenix Suns because they generally have been a high turnover team so far this season and also last season. That was a major trend. But second half, what we saw was this. JJ Redick will change the defensive concept in the midst of a possession. They'll start off in man-to-man, then maybe a particular action occurs, then they'll shift into maybe like this 1-2-2 zone. That's like trying to figure out a way to be effective against that is so tough because it's unpredictable. That's what I think separates a lot of good coaches from great coaches is the ability to make these on the fly adjustments and just be creative. The defense looks very creative. He is shifting between man-to-man defenses and zone defenses in the midst of a possession, in the heat of a possession. It's really, really neat stuff. And as I said, it's going to be very tough for teams to try to orchestrate against that as this team gets more acclimated to the defense, acclimated to JJ Redick. It's just game 2. Think about this thing when it hits game 50. Same thing I said about the offense. So great stuff for this team defensively. Again, it was a rough start defensively in that first half. I remember reading NBA Twitter and people were talking about how pitiful the defense looked and what adjustments JJ Redick was going to make at half. He goes and makes those adjustments and really slowed down that amazing Phoenix ball movement and really actually got them to kind of get back into that stagnant style of offense later in the game that failed them a lot of times last season. So great stuff here from JJ Redick. I'm going to be honest, I came into the season not knowing what to expect with him as a coach, rightfully so, because he never coached in his career, right? Never was on an NBA coaching staff, never had coached on the collegiate level, on the high school level, on the NBA level, on the G League level, never did it. So there was really nothing to come in and expect. We didn't know what a JJ Redick system looked like. We knew he was really analytical, right? A basketball nerd, as they're calling him, a basketball sicko. We knew all of this stuff, but we didn't know what he was going to make this offense and defense look like. So far, we have gotten a glimpse at the creativity. It's been just great so far. Again, it is so early, just 2 games in, but a lot to be excited about here for Lakers fans. This is kind of the offense is also, and this is another thought. I would have imagined this offense would have looked similar if Dan Hurley was here. Like I remember when they interviewed Dan Hurley, and that was a big thing in the offseason. It would have been really interesting seeing how a Dan Hurley offense would have looked with guys like LeBron and Anthony Davis out there running it and D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves out there running it. I feel like this is the closest thing we're going to get to that. So much off-ball movement, these pin down actions, these curls, these off-ball screens, all of this stuff going on with guys who don't have the ball in their hands. It's really great to see. So great stuff again. It is early. Don't want to overreact, but a lot to be excited about for these next few games here to come and the rest of the season for Lakers fans who have been hoping for a spark since 2020, really. So amazing stuff. We'll see how things end up panning out for this team, but love what I've seen from this squad here so far.